Right. We're still got 2 minutes to go. Betsy's grinding through the computer. But yeah. Hello everyone. It is a
beautiful Friday.
June 18th. Let's talk about they've got this push to make June 19th a federal holiday.
It was just signed.
And honestly,
Juneteenth.
I like it. I like it that they I'm not, a fan of the Civil War and how that was handled. I think it could have been handled better, but I like the Juneteenth as a national holiday, bank day, humana,
all the things,
all the stuffs.
Yeah,
so that's
I'm not opposed to it.
That is a
bring on thing. The federal holidays.
Yeah, well, and it's a good thing to celebrate. People gaining freedom, independence, humana.
Yes,
but so. That's coming down the pike. Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth tomorrow, everyone. Hope you have a good one. Celebrate it. Hi, Christy.
Too bad it lands on a weekend this week or this year.
Yeah. Too bad it doesn't kick off on a good Monday.
Mm-hmm.
But no. I think it's a good one. Now, I still think they ought to. You know how they do the Black History Month in like February, right? The shortest month, the month you can't barbecue, all of that. If they're going to go whole hog, I'm not particularly fond of having a month to celebrate an intrinsic part of yourself that you're born with, that you don't have any decision or control over.
Brown Eyes Day.
Yeah, Brown Eyes Month, but I think if they're going to do it, we should push them to try to have that kickoff in June, and it would couple nicely with Juneteenth.
Yes.
I think that'd be a good one.
It's a great idea.
But anyway, so tonight we're going to be chatting about Bohemian Grove.
Oh. The cult of conspiracy.
If you've never been on the internet, you will learn something today. If you've been anywhere near the internet, this is going to be just a retread show with Betsy's knowledge and my bad humor.
I kind of thought watching the G7 conference, that's what made me think about Bohemian Grove. And I had watched the Alex Jones Bohemian Grove YouTube video a couple years ago, but what really brought it up is how cult-like these big conferences are. And particularly, they had this video of these people wearing red robes, and they were walking silently through the streets, and everyone was like, oh, that's satanic. But I had remembered reading an article about how it's a performance group that actually does these silent kind of Cirque du Soleil performances, and this happened to be about climate. And interestingly enough, what it reminded me of is how the entire world views the elite. And even though this really wasn't a satanic thing, I mean, it's crazy. If you look at it, there's people taking video. These people are clothed completely in red, hoods, robes, long trailing scarves. Their faces are painted white, and they are walking with their arms outstretched, just slowly and methodically through the town, into the water. People are watching, they're not responding. So everyone jumped to, oh, this is satanic, which is an interesting take on how people feel about the elite. I wonder if the elite know that we know.
Know that we know that they're
they're ritualistic and satanic. Well, I don't know if it's satanic, but they're ritualistic in ways outside of their public persona um, that they don't commonly just share. They don't get up and, well, it's been leaked a couple of times and we'll get into that, but they don't get up and put up um their Moloch statues and praise him at their conferences. They don't. They tend to stick with the more mainstream religions.
Yeah. Now we will be getting into Moloch tonight, obviously.
Yeah.
Um,
So, should we start with some weird news?
I think we definitely should. But first, let's show. I think this is a picture off of Eyes Wide Shut. That picture I just flashed up there. Now, I don't know if people. Stanley Kubrick wrote that and directed it, and the way the conspiracy goes is that he wrote it as a trying to uncover the elites, and then he got into a fight with the production company, and they wanted him to cut a lot of stuff out, and he did, and then he died. And some speculate that he was murdered for his his uncovering the elites. I don't know. I don't know, but it's kind of an interesting thought.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's go into some weird news. We'll start out with so Victoria's Secret. I'll just read the headline: "By Angels, Hello Athletes." Megan Rapinoe sparks chatter as new Victoria's Secret ambassador. Megan Rapinoe is a soccer player. She is she's fit.
Sure.
Her face isn't very appealing. I think mostly the issue with her is it's the whole world's kind of run into
woke. She's so woke.
Yeah, it kind of keeps running into this wokeness. Now, we can go off on a political bent, but she wants to get paid as much as the male athletes do, which is fine, but the male athletes get paid what they do because of the fans.
Yeah, people go to watch them.
And when it comes to the WNBA and the NBA, which there's an argument there that people have, but the WNBA gets paid, I want to say it's like 20% of all money made by the WNBA. And the males get paid 10% of all money made by the WNBA. Numbers may be off a little bit, but it has come to an argument where they want to make the same amount of money without putting the same amount of people in the fans. And I'm not saying they're not putting in the same effort, but the national Australian soccer team played a scrimmage match against 15-year-olds.
Really?
Yes. And I'm going to pull it up right now. They lost.
Against the 15-year-olds?
Yes.
Oh, hang on. That one hurt a little.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Now these are 15-year-old boys.
7-0?
Yes. Australians, this comes off the Daily Wire. We'll get pop-ups jumping here. Australian Nationals women's soccer team loses 7-0 to a bunch of 15-year-old boys.
Oh my gosh.
On Wednesday, the Australian women's soccer team lost a training game in preparation for the Summer Olympics in Rio. They played a bunch of 15-year-old boys. The Newcastle Jets is the name of this team. It's a 15-year-old boy team. And So in sports, and I think this also goes to the argument that a lot of people have about,
Men and women's sports.
and I obviously don't want to get involved in an argument. One, it doesn't affect me. I think the disenfranchisement doesn't affect me. So I have my opinions and I'll hold them to myself. But I think one of the hard things with Megan pushing this stuff and then forcing Victoria's Secret to, or I shouldn't say forcing, with Victoria's Secret coming out and using her as her spokesmodel. Victoria's Secret had a model where they got the prettiest supermodels on earth and got them to model their clothing to try to get guys to buy their clothing for the ladies, or ladies to buy the clothing out of aspirational designs. And it's I think it might be a bad move. We'll have to see how it pans out in the long run. I don't know. I don't shop at Victoria's Secret anyway, so it doesn't affect me. I shouldn't have an opinion.
Go. Okay, my story.
All right. Now for some fun story.
We're going to be saving the beavers.
Yes, remember we've talked about
Vanilla
flavoring. How it comes from the butt gland of beavers?
The anal gland.
Yes.
Now, we're unsure because we have yet to find
Who?
a beaver anal gland squeezer who can tell us if this is post-mortem
Do you think they keep him
or
secluded
pre-mortem.
like nuclear scientists, like they're kept in special housing? Like you don't want to get that info out, so they hide them and keep them secret?
They would be ostracized within their own communities, you think?
Do you think it's say that word for me, please?
Ostracization.
Yeah, that's the word. Do you think it'd be that, or it would be because people would find out and then their job would no longer be?
Maybe. I wonder what they get paid. Maybe it's like the air traffic control guys.
I promise you it is not enough. I don't care how much it is. I don't care. I do not care how much it is. But do you think they lay the beaver down and like lift up the flappy paddle tail and then give it a squeeze, and then they have a special tool to, or is it like the turkey
the baster, they just suck it out?
Well, did you ever watch Dirty Jobs?
Oh yes, many.
Did you watch the one where they were getting the turkey stuff, the boy turkey stuff, the turkey gravy?
No.
Okay.
How do they get the turkey gravy?
They have a bottle.
That's a really gross way to say it.
They have a bottle, and they put the bottle in a shirt pocket. So you have to have a shirt pocket also. You put the bottle in there, and the bottle has 2 straws. Now, one straw only goes to the top of the bottle, and the other straw goes deep into the bottle. Now, you don't want to mix the straws up because one straw is for vacuum, and the other one is to suck up the turkey gravy. And the vacuum is caused because you put the one straw in your mouth and suck on it to cause a vacuum into the bottle.
No.
But anyways, do you think it's like that?
That is disgusting.
Where, I mean, if you mix up straws, I imagine.
Yeah. What a terrible way to do that. So scientists have discovered.
Back to the beaver milking.
Now, plastic bottles, huge issue.
Oh, yeah.
Filling up landfills all around the world. And plastics, on average, lose 95% of their value as a material after its first use. We are a plastic-driven society. Everything's in plastic. So tackling this global plastic pollution problem researchers have developed this mutant enzyme that breaks down the polyethylene polymer that is used for drink bottles. And it breaks it down into its basic units. And they have figured out a way to take those basic units and turn them into vanilla flavoring. Now, this vanilla flavoring is used, well, vanillin is what it's called.
Vanillin,
Vanillin, like not villain.
like
vanillin.
It has a shady, skinny mustache and
yes,
wears matching tops and bottoms.
And we figured out a way to use this enzyme to break down these plastic bottles to make vanillin. Now, vanillin has been for a long time used in food and cosmetics, and it's considered one of the most important bulk chemicals used in pharmaceuticals, cleaning products, and herbicides. So,
okay, it's what?
Yeah, it's considered one of the most important bulk chemicals. They use it in vanillin.
Does it have a short word like?
So vanillin is
Bill?
It's a all synthetic, all
Fauci?
chemical vanilla flavoring.
Okay, hold on. I got a question though. So I watched the Joe Rogan with this little old lady who said grundle, which had me falling out. She also said tank. And to see like 100-year-old lady to say those words was a happy day for me. But the plastics in your body is making the grundle and or the taint shorter on males, which is decreasing sperm count and testosterone and having ill and adverse effects, and makes you want to have a man bun and all those things that seems to be common now. Would that lead into more of this?
Sure, because I think anytime we take a processee that breaks down an already harmful product into its separate harmful atomic pieces, and then use those pieces to mass inject this product into people's bodies. I mean, they call it green chemistry, but I don't think there's anything green about that.
Well, it might be green for,
as far as like getting rid of the bottle waste. Sure.
But
I think we need to.
Well, I mean, we're already making all these how do I put this gently? We're already making a lot of people who are not people we want to share oxygen with. Yeah. Do we need to make more? I shouldn't say it like that. If you look at the vitriol that seems to come across a lot lately, it seems to come from a couple of particular groups, and one of them is maybe people that if they that have short grundles.
Grundle, it's going to become a new disability.
You go into the doctor.
It's short.
Got to fill out the paperwork. Your grundle's under 1.5 inches. 80%.
Yeah.
But anyway, but yeah, if you get the chance to watch that Joe Rogan, it's very telling. It has made I quit using plastic in my like my Tupperware for lunches. I've just tried to cut plastics out of my my food intake because of the scariness. I mean, it's causing a whole bunch of issues with of course, natural hormone levels, birth rates, all that stuff.
We have to look at this like a U.S. problem, because I saw an interesting article about junk food in the UK versus here. And if you turn the bottle around and you read the packaging, it is clear that the United States allows all kinds of garbage in our food. I mean, look at the Doritos. This is the United States packaging list. This is the UK packaging list. Look at Mountain Dew. United
Whoa.
States, UK.
Now that's just in the packaging.
That's what is in the product.
Oh my gosh.
That's the ingredients list. Look at Cheetos.
I'm telling you what, though, the natural disaster hits and we get sent back into the apocalypse. You could crack open a Cheeto bag in 2 millennia, be fine.
Well, and like one that I found really interesting that I didn't even know was our yogurt and our our easy serve packages of all brands of oatmeal. It's insane the number of ingredients that are in them.
Just in oatmeal.
The UK version, oats, strawberries, powdered milk. Our version is like a list of things, and there's not even real strawberries. It's fruit flavored bits.
Probably made of plastic.
You
You know what? Look up bacon for me. Is bacon got plastic in it? I'm reverting my diet. I am going to go on a bacon-centric diet.
Yes.
I think everyone.
The issue with the bacon is what the pig is fed, and that's a whole nother show. It's a whole nother show.
I'm going to go on a locally sourced free-range bacon diet.
Free-range bacon. So Laura asks, what is the turkey gravy used for?
Laura, the turkey gravy is used to inseminate lady turkeys with.
Yes.
So the turkey gravy.
They basically suck the turkey gravy out with a dual straw system.
It is a vacuum system. I would want colored straws.
Red means stop.
Yes. I'm not kidding. I am not kidding. I would want colored straws.
I would want a straw with a mouthpiece so that for even the colorblind people, there's no mistaking.
Different sizes.
Yes. Like which one goes. First of all, I wouldn't want it at all. I don't want the job. I don't know who came up with this.
Well, because they bred turkeys, they bred them so big that the males are so big they cannot mount the female anymore.
They pump them with hormones at a rate
roids,
that
telling you
that forces. I mean, I'm telling you, whole different show. Turkeys most of the time can't even walk.
If you get the chance, watch It's Dirty Jobs. I think season 7, episode 19 or something. But it's turkey insemination. You can go on YouTube and watch it. It is
terrible.
Fantastic.
It's terrible. Don't eat while you watch.
Hilarious. Like if you get the wrong end of that straw, you won't need to eat. You'll be full. Okay. Next story. So the headline is report rogue drone hunted human. So okay, the drone was likely the first to embody the killer robot characterization. The idea of unmanned flying equipment has gained acceptance as retailers and logistics companies have explored ways to use the devices for benign purposes like dropping a pack of diapers off on your front doorstep. I wonder if you could use them to drop off full packs of diapers. Like used diapers. Like play pranks. We're going to see drone pranks soon, and not just the ones where they go film the lady changing, because that's gross. Don't do that, gentlemen. Or weird lady who may be doing that. But to drop off like the flaming paper sack of manure, that'll happen soon. But anyways, a report from the New Scientist casts dark light on some of the more nefarious ways drones can be used as autonomous agents of war. And in this case, the results were downright terrifying. So there is evidence that a weaponized drone went on a rogue mission last year where it hunted a human target without being instructed to do so. The publication cites a UN report and says the details suggest a Kargu-2 quadcopter, which is a Turkish drone, was being used in a fully autonomous mode during a conflict in Libya in March of last year when the device pursued a soldier that was trying to retreat.
This is the final frontier, people.
The UN report suggests that this type of technology is capable of hunting a target even if it loses connectivity with the operator. And in this case, they say, the drone was likely the first to embody the killer robot characterization, pursuing an object without being instructed to. Do you think it said, "I'll be back," as it went off on its...
I'll be back.
I'll be back. It is unknown at this time if the incident resulted
So
in
this
any
was a fully
casualties.
weaponized?
Yeah, it's a quadcopter that was weaponized. They don't mention what its weapon system were. And it may be a platform that can carry multiple. They've got drones that people mount machine guns to and flamethrowers. Maybe this one just had a sharp stick. But they send it off on a mission with a target of someone wearing so and such. And it sounds like it just kept going.
This is the problem. This is the problem.
I'm worried that if we ever reach a point where we have robotic warfare, that it's going to... War is dehumanizing, but it still has a human factor where it sends men home with scars, mental scars of what they've done. And I think the first side that takes it to a level where autonomous robots fight.
Well, I think so long as they fight each other.
Yeah, but the first time it'll be in place, it'll only be one side will have it, like the tank, like the machine gun, like everything else. I think it will dehumanize that side. And when does it end then?
It doesn't.
You know, like Vietnam, a lot of the drive to end it was soldiers came home from Vietnam and said, it's ugly and horrendous. We should not be there.
Yeah. So speaking of deliveries, there is a website called shitexpress.com. So you go to shitexpress.com, you choose an animal, and then you mail a box filled with gluten-free, kosher, genuine, whatever that animal is, shit anonymously anywhere in the world. Maybe it'll be delivered one day by drones.
Okay.
Shitexpress.com. Send a shit in a package and punish someone with a style. No price, free shipping, worldwide delivery, anonymity. Shitexpress.com.
Who thought of this and why didn't I?
Oh,
Why didn't I think of this?
Shitexpress.com.
And on this subject of things being taken over, that are computer, we're seeing some things happening in Texas, which has me a little concerned. So Nest is a Google platform. They make your house a smart home. There's a Nest connection for your television. There's a Nest connection for your refrigerator. More importantly, in the Texas state of things, there's a Nest connection for your thermostat. And ERCOT, the energy platform that manages the energy for Texas, has put out a notice that due to extreme temperatures, they would like people to keep their houses at 80 degrees. And they went a step further. They gained access to all of these Nest thermostats and disallowed changing the temperature within these people's homes.
Holy cow. So now ERCOT was the same group
that froze their asses off.
They froze the people in the winter.
Yeah.
And I've been to Texas in the summer.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah. So people have Nest because, it's this new gadget. You can control it. I mean, I was just thinking about this with the water crisis because my husband and I updated to a Bluetooth-enabled panel for our sprinkler system. Where does this end?
So Governor Cox is going to be down there.
What if Governor Cox logs into all of these gets with the company and they ration our water.
I'm all about free market and energy and all that. I think Texas needs to take ERCOT and hammer them down.
Yeah. Well, and ERCOT did some really terrible things during the freeze. For
Mhm.
instance, because it's a shared energy, there were people getting bills for $36,000 a day
Yeah, it's crazy.
because everyone else was without power. So the shared energy was now cut down to a neighborhood of 5 people. So instead of 500,000 people having power, those 5 people got a bill for the full power. I mean, who's in charge?
How do we control that?
Yeah. So there's
Do
been
we-
a lot of videos of people saying, take your Nest down, rethink this whole
Oh,
Bluetooth
yeah.
thing, because they can, in fact, log in on the administrative end and turn it off.
Maggie says there are settings. Hello, Maggie.
Hi, Maggie.
She also says she wants to mail poop to people.
I know.
There are. I would be broke. I would be broke.
You get shit for Christmas,
I-
and you get shit for Christmas.
If you ever see me standing on the side of a freeway with a sheet of cardboard, it's not because I need a meal. It's because Bob down the street needs some elephant dung mailed to said house.
Yes.
Anyways, there are settings you can dig into and turn off on the Nest. If you have a Nest, I would definitely research how to do that.
And there were a couple of people who said that all of their ability to get in and make any changes was shut off. So they weren't able to log in on their side and set any of the administrative changes.
Is there anyone stepping up to say, wait a second, this is someone's private property?
I don't know, but there are a lot of AC guys who are stepping up saying, let me show you. Take that off the wall, toss it in a box, connect these 2 wires. Your AC will stay on until you disconnect them.
Yeah.
And this whole push for technology is scary. It's terrifying. But everything's Bluetooth. I mean, what if they could shut off your fridge? What if they just, all of a sudden decide that, anyone with smart fridges, you're pulling too much energy. So between these hours, it's off.
Well, or like rolling brownouts,
Well, and what gets to the core of this is they don't know the situation within your home. They don't know if you have somebody who's recovering from something and cannot be in 80-degree heat,
or if they're on,
or if there are medications inside,
or on a machine that helps them breathe. They just can they just gain access and shut that down?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm a free market person. I don't know. I think something should be done with that energy company is acting shady. They made a lot of promises to the state of Texas, didn't follow through on any of them. I don't know. But anyways,
what a mess.
On the virtual note, Betsy has another story.
This virtual world, I feel like I'm my mom looking at an iPhone for the first time and trying desperately to figure out what the actual hell this thing does. So my next story, so we already talked to y'all about the statue that was sold.
Oh, by the way, I've got a statue for sale.
Yes.
I'll show it to you as soon as we're done with this story.
So virtual real estate plot sells for close to $1 million. Let's be clear. This is not a tangible, touchable piece of property. This is not a plot. This is not even a platform or, say, some type of, created space. This is a virtual piece of land in blockchain.
It's in a blockchain-based online world called Decentraland.
Decentraland.
It sold for more than $900,000 on Thursday.
And it's sold in the form of non-fungible tokens, which is a kind of crypto asset which records the ownership status of digital items on blockchain.
That's the same thing that guy sold his fart orchestra for. Was
Yeah,
it
the fart.
NFCs?
Yeah.
And then or NFTs. And then see, I don't want to sell my statue I'm going to be showing in a minute for NFTs because I don't know what they are. I want to sell it for cash or gold or food, ammo. Yeah, I'll sell it for all those things.
I'll trade you for actual real estate.
Oh yeah, I'll sell it for actual real estate.
And this isn't the first. This isn't a one-off. So the Sandbox, another patch of virtual real estate, sold for $650,000 earlier this month. And in Somnomian space, which is another blockchain space.
Sonomian?
Somnium.
Somnium?
An estate was sold for $500,000 in March. I don't get.
What is this world going to look like in?
Yes.
Where
do you live? I live in blockchain plot number ZBD 102.
Yeah.
And
I don't know.
And because I live there, do I actually just have a microphone and headphones on and I live virtually? What was that movie?
I don't know. But Carrie has a mention in Vermont, electric companies charge more for certain appliances, dryers, ovens, etc. during high use times. Carrie, how do they know if it's a dryer? Is there a certain draw that they can recognize?
We have got to become energy separate. We've got, each one of us have to become energy efficient and off of the grid in some form, or at least have the ability to, because this is insane.
It's going crazy. It is. Oh man, I don't know. Maggie said she went with solar. She does not pull from the grid, and that's a good idea. Solar isn't a cheap investment initially, but I imagine it does pay off long term, very much. Okay.
That's the thing about smart appliance. See?
Yeah. So your smart appliance probably sends them signals,
what sacrifices we make for convenience. Because let me tell you, right now, as I'm sitting here, a couple touches of a button, I could turn on my sprinklers.
Right now, as I
could turn them off.
A couple touches on my phone, and I can play my ball pop game that I like, or I can call somebody.
I'm telling you, it's not worth the convenience.
Yeah, my house. But then again, I mean.
And then imagine if we move to this smart car platform, and then they decide that, because people have said, well, how will they know? They want to charge you by mile. How will they know? Well, they'll know. They'll just know, because you're driving a car that they just know. So then what the car shuts off, like you're on your way home from Target and you've like met your mileage. Your pollution miles have been fulfilled. Walk, I guess. It's scary.
Maggie says, when people die, they can be uploaded to a digital world where their family can visit them. This is the show Upload. It's on Amazon. That is why people are buying virtual property.
Because what if this happens?
I know a few taxidermists. I can set myself up.
A virtual world?
No.
Like a real world?
I've always said to Alex, I don't care what you do. Do whatever's cheapest. I got a new plan. Prop me up in the corner. I want a full body mount. I could be doing the bear pose. I could be Superman pose.
Who's that?
Taxidermy.
My dad.
Taxidermy Superman looking up and away.
You could be Captain Morgan. He could dress you and get the barrel.
I could
pat you on the. Maggie says, "Pat you on the." Hi, Dad.
I could do a Captain Morgan pose. Have me like he could move me around the house.
Hat.
All of his furniture would have to have a level that's the proper height. But I could be, one leg up. I could be on the coffee table today, on an end table tomorrow. He could put me out in the front yard. When he feels I need to be washed off, he could give me a spritz out in the front yard under the sprinklers.
It's the perfect idea.
It really is. Bear pose with, yeah, with the fish in my mouth. Is it, for anyone out there that knows, is it legal to have yourself taxidermied? Inquiring
Now
minds.
we must know.
Yes.
Okay, so today's show.
Well, do we want a really quick update on Lori Vallow?
Oh yeah, Lori Vallow. So we covered the build up, and then we did a follow-up show on the discovery of the two missing children who were actually formatively found deceased. And so the latest update is that Lori Vallow has been deemed unfit for trial. And I would argue that that's probably true. Although it really pisses me off.
I mean, if I did an argument, I'd come out and it'd be, duh.
I mean, it makes me mad because it feels like there's no justice.
Yeah, we want some justice for her two children. One was 15 and one was 12. Is that correct?
I believe so.
Or 17 and 12.
17 and 12, I think.
And Lori Vallow is a... well, it kind of sounds like she got sucked into it a little bit by the
She was ripe for the picking.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, because she was very...
But there's thoughts that she killed her husband, killed her brother-in-law.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's upsetting at first glance. I'm hoping that this...
Now, it looks like she may not be found unable to stand trial, but they may be just remanding her for longer.
Right, to try and restore competency.
Yeah. Well, lady, you killed your children. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I would pose a question before starting today's show, because when you read everything about Bohemian Grove, it is posed to you like it's this frat club, and they've got they've got to have a place to unwind, and that's what this is, and they're just doing all of the things that they can't do in the public eye. But I would argue, what if, let's keep it simple, what if your local teachers union, comprised of the people that you trust with your children, what if you found that once a year they meet? It doesn't matter where. I mean, honestly, the location is nothing. But what if you found that they meet in a specific location and they do a ceremony that has a child fetish, is what they call it, or the imagery of a child? It's actually disputed either way. Hardcore conspiracy theorists say that it's an actual child. Jared grabbed his tinfoil hat. Never be too safe. But what if they met once a year, these teachers that you entrust your children to, and they held these elaborate ceremonies whereby they did a symbolic ritual, as you would call it, called the cremation of care, where they call upon the god Moloch and they burn an effigy of a small child, and then they do dancing naked, drinking, prostitution, gambling, all kinds of things. How would you feel if your teachers union
or your church
this
leadership?
They already do. Let's keep it simple.
Jared, we're not talking about Sunday.
But or maybe it's medical professionals. It's interesting to me how
people that you put your trust into
outside of politicians are held to this higher standard. But when it comes out that in fact this is happening at Bohemian Grove, there's video footage of it, that it's just kind of like, oh yeah, this, they're just like frat boys and they're, having a great time and nothing to see here. So I would start with a quote from Richard Nixon. It says, anybody can be president of the United States, but very few have any hope of becoming president of the Bohemian Club. That is how high up you have to be there. So secretly, they've been meeting for 17 days each July in a remote sacred grove of ancient redwood trees in the deep forest surrounding San Francisco. There's about 1,500 that show up. Now, I've heard that in the beginning, it was like $25,000 entry fee. Now it's about $75,000 just to get your name on the list. Now, their membership roll is in the most part kept secret. If anyone wants to
send me to Bohemian Grove, I promise, when you send me that check, it will not be spent fraudulently
on weapons,
cocaine,
or
and hookers.
Ammunition. Cocaine and hookers. Ay. So their membership roll is kept secret, but it includes super rich blood dynasty member families who have also been considered part of the Illuminati. Maggie says, boys will be boys mentality makes me mad. Yes, it's that boys will be boys mentality.
Is it the boys will be boys mentality? I think that's more like, guys give each other shady nicknames. I mean, I had a shady nickname, gave all my buddies nicknames.
Yeah, no,
I think
this is much worse.
This is creepy. People will continue to be creepy. I mean, I have severe issues with our political class. They openly lie, and I think our political class have gotten so bad. Let's say you are a Cleveland Browns fan, and the Cleveland Browns go out on their Sunday and play a dog shit game. You will come out after and say they played a bad game.
Played like shit.
But right now, our political class is like teams. They have people who root for them no matter what. You have Trump people, Biden people, whoever. And no matter what they do, they will come out and say, no, they're right. They're right. I mean, Biden stumbling and mumbling all around England right now. It's embarrassing. There's videos of him being laughed at by the other leaders because he got lost standing still.
Yeah.
And people are on his team. Or Trump. When Trump did some things that really tanned my hide hard. And people come out and just say, oh no, he's the greatest. Well, he's not. All of our political class, I don't care. All of them are crap. And that's what these people are. The Bohemian Grove is our political class.
And the people that make up the guest list of Bohemian Grove that we know of. Now, there's not been any new guest lists kind of leaked as of late, but we know the Bushes were there. The governors of Los Angeles and California were there. FBI, CIA directors, former secretaries of state.
Most of your popular journalists.
Artists, Colin Powell, Richard Nixon.
It seems like it's a Republican-centric thing, so maybe that's why it's died, because there's not a journalist left that's Republican aside from Sean Hannity. So yeah, I think maybe that's why it's died, because there's no more journalists. There's no Tom Brokaw that'd show up, or any of those other, lovely human beings.
So this story kind of, although there were books written about it before the Alex Jones incident, it really jumped to conspiracy headlines when Alex Jones snuck in. Now, he's gone on later to say that, man, I did think at the time that was super easy to get in, And he had heard that there was some rivalry internally, and they had let him in. Alex Jones and a BBC reporter, he was actually reporting for the BBC, so somebody with the BBC team got into Bohemian Grove, and they filmed the entire ceremony.
Yeah, they filmed them wandering around, riding in vehicles with all these other people.
The ceremony itself it's interesting because the music is Disney, the imagery is satanic, the effigy is kind of Druid or Babylonian. The giant statue is of Moloch.
Moloch, the owl god, or in one of his forms, an owl god.
So Moloch, to give you an idea, this stone, this giant stone effigy of Moloch is probably 45 foot high. It's huge. And inside it, there is what they call the eternal flame. And the eternal flame was lit a mere 6 to 8 years after the founding of Bohemian Grove in 1872. So about 6 to 8 years later, they've erected this and they've lit the flame. So if we think for a second that everything we're seeing now and kind of drawing our eyes towards is recent, you're crazy. This has been going on for 140 years, 147 years.
Mm-hmm.
So Moloch has been understood as referring to the Canaanite god. However, since 1935, scholars have debated whether or not the term refers to a type of sacrifice on the basis of a similar term, also spelled MLK. So Moloch, the very word, has been debated on whether or not that is the name of the god or if that refers to sacrifice.
So these are mostly rich white dudes out there, right?
Oh, yeah.
Imagine the sea of cargo shorts and polo shirts, just a sea of it. And golf-centric hats, with golf companies on it.
So Alex Jones starts out this video where he stops in the little town just outside of Bohemian Grove, and he interviews some people, and I think that was the most interesting tell in the whole video. I would go back and just watch just the beginning to get a sense of what's happening inside Bohemian Grove, because as he stops and he interviews these people, he stops and he interviews this lady, and he's like, what do you think of Bohemian Grove? And he doesn't tell them that he's there, for whatever reason in the beginning. And she says, it's great. They offer lots of jobs. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. So you guys all work there? And she says, yeah, I've worked there. And when he brings up, well, what do you think about the cremation of care ritual? You can see her visibly disassociate. And she kind of looks for an answer, and then she goes, I don't know anything about that, and walks away. The next guy he comes up to, he's like, so what do you think about Bohemian Grove? And he's like, that's fine. And he said, well, have you ever heard of the cremation of care? And the guy goes, no, I haven't heard of none of that. And
so he nods.
He's shaking his head yes, but he's saying
while he
no.
Says no.
Yeah. And then he goes up to some people who just visit but don't live there. And the guy's like, yeah, weird shit happens out there. I once was on this road and Secret Service came up to me and was like, grill me. What are you doing here? Why are you here? Do you have any cameras? And he was like, and I'm not talking like guys who think they're Secret Service. I'm talking actual Secret Service.
Now, I have heard that presidents will go to it prior to being president, but once they're president, they won't go again. And they usually don't attend after unless they're sponsoring someone into the gaggle.
So there's a couple of interesting competing theories. One of them is that these people actually believe and religiously spend their lives serving Moloch. And so this is like a patronage, kind of like a Shabbat or something that, I mean, many
can I-
religions do this.
Can we talk about Moloch real quick?
Yes.
Okay. The religion of Moloch was kind of a mirror to the religion of Baal. And in my understanding, this is very limited. This is just an armchair moron talking now. But they did believe and did commit child sacrifice to the god Moloch and the god Baal. Now, Moloch was a Canaanite god. Baal was a North African god. But they were kind of mirror gods, gods of intellect and innovation and industry and whatever. And they in North Africa, it's in Libya specifically, they found the worshiping pits of Baal, which underneath it were millions of baby bones.
Yeah.
From the sacrificial pits. So the religion goes back. It's creepy. And yeah, so if they are throwing up a worship to that right there sends up red flags for me.
So that's the first theory, is that and there are some things to support that. For instance, when WikiLeaks did the email dump of Hillary Clinton's emails, she mentions Moloch, and she actually mentions in a couple of her emails sacrificing a chicken, which was common. Now, of course,
this might get us canceled. So.
There's been no official I was joking or any of that to come from the Clinton camp. But in her emails, one of them reads, "With fingers crossed, the old rabbit's foot out of the box in the attic, I will be sacrificing a chicken in the backyard to Moloch." And then Moloch is mentioned several times in the Podesta emails. So Camp 1, they truly believe it. They draw spiritual recourse from devoting their life to Moloch, and child sacrifice is just a part of it. Camp 2 this is a hazing event used to test the waters and get blackmail as a way to control, which would explain why they don't go back.
Like Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, so in a way, because it's anything goes, absolutely anything goes. What was that quote you read to me earlier?
Oh, okay. Richard Nixon.
Yeah.
That's what Nixon said about it. May 13, 1971, Nixon says, "The Bohemian Grove, which I attended from time to time, is the most faggy goddamn thing you could ever imagine."
So that is one thing that they say happens often there, is people who live lives outside heterosexually go in and they experience homosexuality, because this is a boys' club, let's be clear. They go in and they experience homosexuality freely. And that in turn is used to blackmail them in their real life as a way to control. And we're not talking about Jim Bob down the street. We're talking about secretaries of state, presidents of the United States, leaders of military,
heads of the Fed.
Yeah, heads of the Federal Reserve. Oh, Greenspan was on the list.
Yeah, and that's what you look at. And maybe Bohemian Grove is the Republican side, where it's theorized, mostly by myself, that Epstein was the Democrat side, where both sides, it's an entrapment for creepy.
And I mean, it would be effective. It would be effective because, as I've stated before,
Betsy is pulling up pictures on her phone, and I wasn't lying. Khaki shorts,
all
and
khaki
polo shirts.
It's
like a sea of dad. I'll bet if they pen that picture down, it would be socks and sandals. Guarantee it.
So here's an interesting here's an interesting take out of one of the leaked emails of Colin Powell. So Colin Powell writes, Peter, I am back from the Bohemian Grove. Surprise, surprise, I sat next to Stephen Harper a couple of times, had a nice discussion. Grove attendees know that Trump is a disaster. Most will vote against him. But quite a few will not vote for Hillary and will vote for a third-party candidate. Strange things down here. Otherwise, all is well with the pals. So our military chiefs and heads of staff are also meeting and participating in this religious ritual that is, I mean, as far as religious rituals go, super common, chanting, singing. Strangely, though, it's got like weird Disney music playing in the background. There's pyrotechnics. But then this hearse that's drawn by horses come in.
Let's theorize the Disney songs. What's that one that the little mouse sang about the moon?
I can't remember. In Cinderella.
Not in Cinderella. No, the Fievel Goes West.
Oh.
You know, if you see the moon under
yeah, I don't think that. No, that don't ruin Fievel. That was a cute show. So they meet, they discuss things, they do whatever they do, they get absolutely crazy. All of that is like, okay, you know, again, what you do in your personal time is fine. The thing I have the issue with is the child sacrifice effigy, because it comes in
that, and in the midst of getting drunk and doing faggy stuff out in the woods, they're deciding the fate of our nation.
Yeah.
The fate of the world, some cases.
So,
you know what? Seriously, the political class is
disgusting.
What do they don't produce anything. They don't provide anything. They only steal. They only steal, and they decide who they're going to steal from day to day. It's
so there was a saying when I was in corporate America that, and I often joked about it, that if I didn't learn how to golf, that I was going to stunt my growth, because all deals happen on the golf course. And I would imagine in political climates, in political America,
all deals happen in a gay spooning.
All deals happen at Bohemian Grove, even if you're not partaking in
maybe that's why we can't let women into politics, because then it's not a gay spooning, it's just a spooning.
I don't know.
It would make it normal.
The religion is very, they've got the patriarchy, and that's clear. As
honestly, most religions do. Most religions are patriarchal. Another word for Jared. Centered. Yeah. And is that a healthy thing or a not healthy thing? I don't know. But I do know that it does creep me out to think that these deals are going on. Yeah.
So what I'd like you to pull up and just flip through, share the screen, is celebrities doing the 6 symbol. Because one thing that is super common with any type of satanic study is that you're required to tell it to the world. So it was interesting to me when I started looking, well, how are they telling it to the world? And you see these things, but it is
now, is this the OK symbol?
No, 6. This is considered one of the 6s. So, and they
but it
do
used to be okay.
Yeah, but
now it means bad stuff.
And then if they hold it up to their eye, it's the all-seeing eye, which is part of the Illuminati. But it's strange to me how they
Mickey?
pose.
Mickey's in on
Yeah.
it.
How they pose
Lego?
for these pictures. They pose for these pictures, intentionally making these symbols. These are not, this is not a
Brad Pitt.
common symbol. I don't know if I've ever gone around and in a picture, you know, I might smile. Sometimes you do the peace symbol, but I've never held my fingers up and put it over my eye for a
Jackie
picture.
Chan?
Yes.
Well, Justin Bieber saw that one coming 3 miles on.
And it's everywhere.
I don't know who this is.
That's Beyonce. Big name celebrities.
Beyonce?
Uh-huh. Big name celebrities: Oprah Winfrey, Michael Jackson, Eminem, Johnny Depp, Lady Gaga.
So what does this mean? What is
It's
it?
considered part of it's an occult symbol.
So is everyone that gets famous, do they have to first join
This
the
is my
occult?
question. This is my question. Here's the deal.
So if someone does this finger on the eye thing, they become famous?
No, that is them showing that they support it or
So-
they're a part of it.
But what you're saying though is that if someone is
they become famous.
do they become famous after they do the eye thing? Does doing the eye thing lead to wealth? And
I don't think
will it
that's how
make
it
you
works.
rich? You know, I don't know if it compounds or anything. I'm just wondering.
if you double up.
I'm just wondering if it, or does the upside down part make it? What makes you rich? How do you get there? I really want a Ferrari.
So now pull up celebrities doing the horn symbol, because again, this is another one. This is one that I wouldn't, I mean, if I was at a rock concert, that's kind of where you would see it most.
Do you think they get together on their little, party get-togethers, whatever they do? Do you think they get together and just say, "What do we do to mess with
Okay.
the masses today?"
Yeah, I wondered that.
Like
It ruins the photo, though.
like Jay-Z.
They're all about appearances.
Jay-Z and Brad Pitt are all, they're at a party, they're drinking. Okay. Jay-Z and George W. Bush are all at a party together drinking their Cristal or something,
I don't.
Dom Perignon.
Maybe there's a newsletter.
And they say, "Dude, let's mess with a newsletter." You know what? I'll bet that damn newsletter is on paper, mailed out even.
It's crazy though when you look through these. The symbology is insane. It's everywhere. Some of them I think, oh no, they're just like rock on because they're at a rock concert.
I do that all the time in some pictures.
But others, it's like they're not at okay, Rachel Maddow, what are you doing? The Rock kind of makes a little bit of
No,
sense.
Don't tell me that The Rock is in the
Eminem
Illuminati.
for
No.
a photo. Barack.
Now that's an "I love you" sign. Barack's.
That's because he doesn't know how to do it right. Barack, Taylor Swift, totally knew it. Now, some people say that when Kanye, Robin Williams, when Kanye,
See, those are "I love you" signs on Senor Obama. Michael Jackson, he's given a hoo-hoo.
Donald Trump,
The Don and Jesse James.
yes. Now that could be rock on because Jesse James is kind of a rocker,
Yeah,
but that is not "I love you."
that one is not. Obama has some devil horns going,
What in
but
the
maybe
hell?
he's counting. Maybe he's counting.
And he counts with his fingers split,
You
like
bet.
1,
You bet.
2.
You bet. Uh-oh.
Anton LaVey.
Anton LaVey. Assume. Okay.
That's
we
his
did a-
wax museum portrait of him. So he must have used it enough. Yeah, come
Or the
on.
person who does Anton LaVey's waxes. Oh, this is that guy with one ball, right? What's his name? The cyclist.
Oh, Lance Armstrong.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
It's okay. So there's a lot of devil horns.
Yeah.
And see, like right now, okay, I'm gonna lay this picture out for you. For those who are watching, just follow along. For those of you only listening, It's going to get fun. So we've all seen Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Yeah.
Now, Barack Obama is dressed in robes at UC Irving, probably for like a graduation commencement or
Sure.
something else. I'm picturing him saying, party on, or be kind to each other and party on, while giving double devil horns, because he's given them the Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure end of the show speech, right?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Could
Everyone
be
with
it.
me? All right. I dig it.
It's interesting because it shows up. I mean, the Pope, you got to watch yourself. The Pope does it. There's another Illuminati where they kind of make a diamond. Now, Jim Carrey kind of blew the top off of that during a late night talk show where he was like, we all know what it means. Quit pretending that we don't know what it means. And then
Jim Carrey
subsequently,
did that?
yeah, and then subsequently he kind of went off the rails.
Oh,
Not only went off the rails, but he didn't ever get another offer again.
they went after him. So here's one. Here's a picture. George W. Bush is like, they're standing in a, I don't know, all the George Bush and
Procession.
his
It's
wife
probably a
Bush
funeral.
and evil bastard. I mean, Dick Cheney and Dick Cheney's wife. Now, George W. Bush has his hands down like a kid that's doing something so that mommy and daddy doesn't see. Do you
Mhm.
think like Dick Cheney catches him out of the corner of his eye and punishes him later? Like, you will behave. Man.
But they say that the symbolism will be their downfall.
Mm.
And
But I mean, so
Alex Jones is showing what he was seeing. So
or
that was
Alex
another
Jones
thing.
is doing it.
Oh,
Alex, you Illuminati.
that's actually a picture from his YouTube video where he was
The
like,
Bohemian Grove, yeah.
they do this strange thing to each other.
I don't know.
Anyway, interesting.
Do
I
you-
find it interesting because if I look through all of my pictures, I don't have a single one like
You
this.
probably have a lot of me doing that though, because I did that like when we went in the cave and the little baby bat
right.
flew within Betsy's
That's
zip
kind
code.
of your personality. I really don't have any like this either, but
Is it
my
a part
nieces.
of my personality, Betsy?
Yeah, I wonder.
That's right. The
But-
nighttime is the right time.
This one, nobody does.
Remember we used to do that as kids though, try to go upside down
Well,
and
that's to make those glasses that you look through.
yeah.
It's not because we
I'm
were
not
worshiping
limber enough.
Moloch.
Weren't
least
we?
it- I speak for myself.
Speak for yourself. Don't put words in my mouth. I will worship Moloch every day. But no, there is.
So the question is, how would you feel if anyone else that you entrusted your livelihood to was meeting once a year and conducting this type of child effigy sacrifice called the cremation care ritual and chanting and singing and doing all of the things? How would you feel?
Yeah, would you be okay with it?
Because
Just-
it
let's
seems
say-
everyone's just fine. They're like, boys will be boys. They're just politicians. They're just blowing off steam. But let me tell you, in my life, if any other group of people that I entrust, medical professionals,
I was going to say,
local police department, what if they did that?
yeah. Oh, well, what if your pastor and or minister, me speaking as a minister right now,
Yes.
what if your minister on the weekends was out doing semi creepy religious-esque stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Would you be okay with that? I mean,
Why do we give these fools a pass?
But
They
the
take
reason-
all of our money.
but now
What
that
are
I
we
say
paying
that,
for?
I recognize that there's been quite a few religious leaders caught doing creepy stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's time we need to rethink our political class. It should not, being a politician should not be a gateway to being wealthy. Being a
No.
politician should be a service job.
A passionate calling of yours to
Yes,
help other people.
where you actually make a sacrifice to do it.
Yep.
And that's where we need to rethink it. We need to, I don't know, maybe none of those jobs, maybe those jobs should not be paid jobs. But then again, that enters other means of corruption. So I don't know. I don't know how to rethink it. I am obviously not smart enough to draw this up. But I think as a as the human race, this is worldwide. We need to rethink it.
Yeah.
Need
We'll
to
do a whole
figure it out.
show on Alex Jones. As we were talking
Yeah.
before the show, it's interesting because he comes across as completely unhinged. He's screaming and carrying on. And I mean, the gay frogs thing, it just played its course and everybody hammered home. Then come to find out they were actually putting a chemical in the water that wasn't,
It was making them.
it was making them female.
It was making them hermaphroditic and sterile. So
Yeah.
the frogs maybe today are extinct. That certain type of frog he's talking about. But I mean, he's
been
Yeah.
right. Oh,
been right quite a few times.
He's completely crazy, but he's been right.
Yeah, it's scary.
He's been
But we'll
right.
dig into that another time. But anyways, yeah, and I want to close out. Did anyone watch the Jon Stewart interview on that late night show where he talked about
Oh, I watched it. Yeah.
the
Where he was like, let me
Wuhan
see.
lab?
Yeah. If there's a chocolate spill of chocolatey goodness in Hershey, Pennsylvania, where do we start? It was perfect, which is interesting because he's not always been on the train, or at least not outwardly.
Well, see, I'm scared. I'm scared that this is going to come out. That Trump derangement syndrome
has reached our scientific community.
Well,
It already
not just
came
that,
out.
not just that, but that it caused or aided in everything bad that went wrong in 2020, in the deaths, in all of that, and that when that comes out, I mean, we all understand that scientists are going to science, and the rest of us should be there to hold them to account. But when it comes out that Trump derangement syndrome caused maybe certain medical aids to not be used, or it caused, I mean, not just the lab leak. The lab leak, I mean, that it may as well be considered a sound theory now.
Well,
but,
scientists waited to legitimize lab leak theory out of fear that they would be associated with Trump.
oh yeah, we know that. But they stopped the use of certain drugs that YouTube
because Trump
and Facebook.
said.
Yeah. What if that comes out and that maybe grandma and grandpa and people died because
of Trump derangement syndrome?
Because of Trump derangement syndrome.
Yeah.
Will we then take a countenance and stop and look at ourselves, which is what we need to do. We need to look inward. Everyone needs to take a minute and look inward and say, am I acting rationally about this?
Maybe there should be a hotline. Now there's a hotline for radicalized right-wingers that you can turn to your neighbors. Maybe we should have a hotline for Trump derangement syndrome.
Yeah, we definitely need to do a show on what's going on in the military, which as a veteran is quite scary to me. That the purges in the military almost never are followed up by something positive. There was a purge in the military, say mid 1920s, that led to many good things in Russia. There was one in the military in mid 1930s that meant no good things for Germany. So I think purges in a military where your military is not allowed to have the spectrum of ideas that your nation has, that is a lead off to, I'll say, to genocide.
Yeah.
To purging. Once you purge the military of ideas, then that military can be used to purge a society of ideas. Now, if those ideas are just of a within the Overton window of thought, that's when it gets scary. I can see if they want to go out and purge pedophiles. All right, I can get behind it.
People who are truly
serial
Unabombers,
killers.
Serial killers, suicide bombers. That's totally different.
When they want to just purge the idea of maybe taxes aren't a good thing at the level they're at.
Scary.
Kind of scary. But anyways, thanks for joining us. Let us know what you think about Bohemian Grove. Obviously, neither of us are professionals, and I don't know if I'll ever make it there, but if I do, I'll report back, I promise, after I reach the top and milk it for all it's worth.
No, because then you'll be held to secrecy. So or you die.
How do they hold me to secrecy?
Well, because they have videotape of you doing really bad things.
I've got no shame.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I don't care.
Show it.
All right. You
Have
guys,
a great week.
thank you so much. Have a very good night. Be safe. We're tossing around another idea for kind of an expansion on the show. And I think once we get bugs worked out on that, we'll put it out and see what people say. Humana. And one last thing. Love you guys. Have an amazing weekend. Love you too, Maggie. We'll see you guys later.
Good chatting with you, Max.
Yes.